went to church almost every Sunday. There were times that my dad didn't, but my mom always took us kids and went to Sunday school. Learned a lot. Didn't go to Sunday school all the time, but went to church probably 3 out of 4 weeks in a month.
First, what was your experience like maybe growing up? Because I find for a lot of us, that's why we even valued it in the first place. What was your experience like even going to church or having that type of relationship in that community?
We went to church almost every Sunday. There were times that my dad didn't, but my mom always took us kids and went to Sunday school. Learned a lot. Didn't go to Sunday school all the time, but went to church probably 3 out of 4 weeks in a month. There's times when we missed or we're out of town or whatever, but that was important.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom thought it was much more important at times than my dad did. I bet he probably went with us maybe 25% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd stay and work on things in the garage or projects, but it's like that was important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you?
We were very occasional, very, very occasional, and mostly when I was young. And then I never went through to church in high school or college. But then when we were going to get married, we did go to the old church where my parents had gone occasionally way back, and the pastor would not marry us unless we met with him for counseling. I think it was three different sessions, 2 or 3.
Kind of like premarital counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And it was very valuable. It was a good thing. We enjoyed it, and I think we took away a lot of good messages from it. And then we really didn't go to church as a couple until after the kids were older, and then we started again.
Okay.
So
what about, didn't you mention earlier that you guys got married in that same church, or was it different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it important for you to be married in that church?
Yes.
Why?
Everybody that I knew that had gotten married was always married in a church.
Yeah, for me that was just that was the tradition.
Got it.
It was
That was
very
the
rare
tradition.
to
Understood.
get not yet married in a church.
Understood.
And
Yeah.
you did it in front of friends and family, and
Yeah. So it was very meaningful.
Sure. Okay.
it's like when you're making the pledge that basically through thick and thin and through sickness and in health until
Mhm.
death
Yeah.
do you part.
Yeah.
That's a very solemn promise.
Yes,
and
sir.
very serious. And obviously, it's not to be taken into lightly when we make that decision. And we didn't take it lightly.
Right. Even at 23.
Yeah, even at 22. It's like we knew what we wanted.
Right.
We wanted each other.
Right. No, that's beautiful. And I appreciate you mentioning how that was kind of like during that time period, that was very normal. Like that's what people did. And I still think it's
Yes.
normal now. It's just maybe it's not as prevalent as maybe it used to be. But I just think it's important to touch on that, because I know for some people, their faith is quite important to them, and it is a foundation that helps guide them through whatever adversity and challenges that they face, whether it's as an individual or in your relationship. I think for those that hold those values and those that don't, even when you think about what you said, right? Like what you say in the vow. So let's say you're non-faith oriented,
Mhm.
but you still say those words, or you say something to that effect, right? What does that mean? We know you're going to have a certain level of adversity and challenges that are going to be thrown your way, and again, and I'm going to ask you all to clarify, because obviously I've not taken those vows, so I don't know. almost in any situation, regardless of what happens, you're not going to just throw in the towel. You're going to try your best to find a way to work through it together.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you all would add to that, or restate what I said?
I have a few little key phrases that kind of go along with that
Sure,
that
please.
I try to think about and I think are important. One is, like we were saying, to say I love you. I think it's great to be able to say I think you're the best. You did a good job. I'm sorry. Or the biggie is I was wrong.
Ooh.
That's
You saved the two biggest ones to the last.
yeah.
Please forgive me.
Please
Right.
forgive me. And I was wrong. And I think those things are really important.
And they're relevant in today's world.
Yes, sir.
Just like they were 100 years, 200, 1,000 years ago.
I can go off on
Where
a
are you
long
now
tangent
where
on
are
this
you
one.
going to go with this?
I can go really far on that one. Talking about being apologetic, truly, or even just I think of that in context of accountability, meaning I'm going to say it this way too, because some people get this confused about control. They think about like in relationships, like it's being able to control the other person, which is not true. I allow you, or allow my partner, to hold me accountable to do the things that I say I'm going to do, because I value, I love, and I respect and appreciate them, and vice versa, right? And if not, you're allowed to confront me, not disrespectfully, but you're allowed to confront me and say, hey, we were going to do this, or I didn't like when you said this to me, or when you approached me this way. And to not get immediately defensive, shut down, like you talked about earlier, because a lot of us do that. We call that emotional stonewalling in therapy speak.
There's people that hold grudges that don't let go. That's
Right.
Like, hello, let it roll off the back of your neck, your shoulders. It's like forgive and forget.
Forgiveness is hard.
It is.
But it's really important.
I agree. Even, and I try to always talk about things simplistically sometimes, because I think sometimes we confuse ourselves. Like and again, you guys tell me if I'm wrong or if you disagree. When two people come together, because we are not the same person, we have two different perspectives and outlooks on life. That inherently makes it complicated. So if our communication is not strong, we will experience a wide variety of issues. Would you agree with me there?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, but if I'm not only if I'm not willing to communicate, but then I'm not going to allow you to hold me accountable for the things that I say I'm going to do or what I'm trying to bring to the relationship, how can it last healthily? How can it healthily, not somebody, swallowing all the issues and pretending like, sweeping it under the rug, because I don't subscribe to that. But genuinely saying like, no, we're going to deal with those things. So we need to talk about those things and make sure we work through them together, because we took these vows, because we respect and appreciate each other, because we want this to work for the long term. Would you agree with that? Does that notion, that idea?
Wholeheartedly, yes.
Okay. I say that because I think we forget that part, and we feel like either the other person's supposed to 100% come to your side all the time, which is more like a dictatorship, and forget compromise, the C word, and then understanding again, because we're not the same, we don't need to inevitably always be in conflict, but sometimes you're going to concede on some things and other times I will. But that's relationships 101. That's my opinion.
Yes.
I would like to know what you two think about that.
That's kind of the only thing that has, not the only thing, the love too, but that's the main thing that has gotten us to where we are now, is compromising and listening to the other person's side of it, and then trying to meet halfway,
Right.
meeting in the middle.
Would you agree?
Yes, I would.
So it's just one of those things that, like, when I talk to people and we have some of these discussions, it's just very interesting, because I feel like when they come into it and that's their worldview, like No, you need to come to me. And I'm like, that's not a relationship, or it's not a healthy one. If you think I'm always supposed to come to you, where does my voice get factored into this equation? When do my thoughts and my feelings, or when are they going to be appreciated? And not just, I'm going to steamroll you because I'm leading everything, so I don't really care what you think. Because you may not be using those words, but that might be the impression that you feel based on how they're kind of speaking to you or how they're approaching the type of discussion.